Hello and welcome to Group Chat. I'm your host, Bentley, and today I'm excited to welcome to the chat Donny Kutzbach, co-owner of Town Ballroom and Fun Time Presents and producer of the Buffalo Outer Harbor concert series. Jack Kreuzer, associate producer at Buffalo Toronto Public Media and play-by-play voice of BTPM's Friday Night Lights. Also, UB play-by-play. You hear his voice many sports at many games at UB. And then I'm honored also to welcome Abigail Lee, owner and creator of the fashion brand By Abigail Lee, formerly bleached by Abigail Lee, but we'll talk more about that.
Yeah.
Right? We have a packed show today, starting with what's been happening at the Bills training camp and the upcoming HBO docuseries Hard Knocks. Later, we're going to talk about the unstoppable rise of women's sports, what fashion means on and off the field, and upcoming music festivals. We're all over the place, but that's what it means to be in Buffalo, right? And so first, we like to get to know everybody and find out what you're talking about in your group chats. Like, what are some topics? Jack, why you just raise your eyebrows?
Yeah, well, there's not much going on this summer, I feel. My group chat's been pretty dead. I don't know about you guys.
Is it because there's things going on and people are actually doing things and they're not talking to you?
Probably. Yeah, it's more old school living, if you will, where it's like we're out doing things, so we're not going to text about it.
Oh, interesting. Okay. How about you, Donny?
I feel like it's the microcosm of all the topics for this show. It's been talking about sports, Bill's training camp, sports, and then everyone's like got their concert plans. Like, okay, we have to go to this one this day. I have tickets for this. Oh, so-and-so's got an extra. So I hear a lot of that from in my group messages.
That's where mine are at, too. It's like the plans for the fall, but also the plans for right now.
It's like, are we going to this show? We didn't get tickets yet. And I was telling my friends, don't worry about getting tickets. We'll get tickets at the end. We always do.
Yeah.
How about you, Abigail?
Mine are just trying to make plans with people and them just never going through. So it's either that or it's my 75 women-owned business group chats all just trying to figure out how to navigate. So there's like trying to do fun things not happening and then just business. So my group chats are busy, but they're not the most fun.
Yeah, you're in the busy. Well, you're going to be busy for a little bit now.
Oh,
we
yeah.
head into preseason and into
it's already started
the season. So some things that have been happening in pop culture before we dive into training camp and the upcoming HBO series. We've had a lot of deaths. We like that, a couple weeks ago. Jack's like, "Wow, you went there right away."
Yeah, it went dark quick.
Chuck Mangione, who I just realized was from Rochester.
Yeah.
I know. Jazz musician and composer, Hulk Hogan. And then we did a special on Ozzy. So hopefully all that news is behind us. But that was kind of overcoming people's group chats a little bit, or maybe finding out late for a little while. And then people still talking about the South Park episode.
Yeah.
Did anybody see that?
Oh, yeah. Are you like hanging on the edge of your seat waiting for the next one to see? They're definitely going to keep going with this.
Oh,
There's
yeah.
no doubt.
Yeah.
And I love that right in the beginning addressed NPR and Cartman not being able to listen to his favorite radio show. I did have a soft spot for that part. You think there's going to be another one, Donny?
I think, I mean, Trey and Matt seem like they get on a tear with stuff.
Yeah.
I'm sure there's going to be a lot of different directions they're going to go in, but I don't think that they're letting the overarching theme that seems like it's going on in this country and the world right now. I don't think they're going to let that one go right away. So let's see what the next episode looks like. No,
and they did address it at Comic-Con in San Diego and fake apologized.
Yeah, I saw that.
So we shall see what is next. But I know that was just flooding everything for a while. And Comic-Con, there were some things that came out during Comic-Con, including Ryan Gosling's new project Hail Mary debuted. Anybody see anything about that? That looks, it's like a sci-fi thriller. Outside of Comic-Con, speaking of, I know, Jack, we were talking a little bit about golf because you had golfed earlier before we got on the mic today. Happy Gilmore 2.
Yes.
Are you excited about that as a golfer?
I haven't seen it yet.
Yeah.
But I've heard a lot of cameos, like any Sandler movie.
So many.
Did you see it?
I watched it 2 nights ago. I couldn't even keep up with how many cameos were in it.
I know.
It was crazy.
It was great.
Yeah.
I was like, I mean, I liked Happy Gilmore, but I wasn't like this, huge fan. But I was so glad I watched the second one, and it's the cameos really make it.
It was fun. Yeah, you got to watch it.
I will. It's on the list.
Okay, good. It was great.
Golf professionals.
Yeah,
all of them. Literally everybody was in it, except like Tiger. But I don't think he really does stuff like that. But everyone else was in it.
Yeah,
I was like, oh my gosh.
Travis Kelce, Bad Bunny.
I saw Scotty Scheffler, like a clip on my Twitter came up when Scotty was in prison.
Poor guy. Yeah. And I do have an appreciation for Adam Sandler, who will be coming to Buffalo, right? He showed up to his premiere. He drove himself.
So bad.
He's just a regular dude, I mean, for as much as you can be when you are a celebrity, but I think he tries to be a regular dude. And I know that everybody is talking about Hard Knocks coming out.
Ooh.
HBO. Oh, Abigail, I want to hear the excitement.
I'm so excited. I'm hearing back today about something that might be happening with me and Hard Knocks that we know the premiere is next week in New York. So I'm hearing back today about something. It's going to be probably the biggest thing I've ever done. So we're going to be hearing about that, but I am so excited for Hard Knocks. I'm a football buff. I love all of it. I've always watched all the Hard Knocks before, but for it to be with the Bills, I'm like over the moon excited. I'm like counting down every minute until the premiere happens. So
are you not a little bit like worried that some drama might come out of it?
So I kind of know a lot of the families a little more than others. I make a lot of like the pieces, like custom pieces for the wives and girlfriends and stuff. So I know a lot of them, not like really well, but a little bit better. So, and I know a little bit of what happens behind the scenes, which is, it's so cool. But possibly, you never know. There's always drama in everywhere. Yeah. So it's going to be so exciting.
There has to be a little bit of drama.
What do you think?
Well, like last year, weren't the Giants on it, and there was drama around their draft and all the training camp drama with they didn't re-sign Saquon and all that.
Yeah.
But I don't know. The Bills seem pretty non-controversial.
If they put you on Hard Knocks, they're going to scratch until they find a storyline that is going to make some controversy. It's going to create controversy. It's going to make for good ratings because they want you to come back every week. So they have to find something. So we don't have a Stephon Diggs situation this year where there's, animus.
Yeah.
But they're going to find something. They're going to find a hook or a thread and start pulling at it and figure out, okay, where's the story's at. So yeah, I don't love it. I'm excited to watch it. But I'm also a little terrified.
Are you a little worried?
I'm a little terrified, yeah.
Well, I mean, what we've seen so far, and they're not really giving a ton away, and the trailer is very positive. And Josh Allen will obviously be probably the center of a lot of the movie. But yeah, I feel like there's probably going to be something that has to be controversial, but I feel like it's going to be, whatever it is going to be somewhat of a reach for this team this year, but who knows? Maybe we don't know. And maybe that's what we'll find out. Now, Abigail was fine, and now she's like, well, now I don't know.
Well, all these injuries, at least like today we're filming and they're missing like all their receivers and tight ends going down with injuries. So there's drama just naturally occurring in football.
Yeah. So what does it mean? Well, first of all, what you just said, I guess now we just live in a time where we know about all of these things that maybe they didn't want the public to necessarily know about before, especially with injuries. And but what do you think it means to have this type of spotlight on the Bills? Is this a bigger picture type of thing? Do you think it's a positive thing?
I say this all the time, like for the years, and I had season tickets through a lot of the drought years, and I was going to games during all the aughts and all those years before, and doing what we do at the tailgate and enjoying it. But then we were always like, oh, it's not fair. We don't get enough night games. Oh, we don't get the national media spotlight. And then once we do, or my friends and people I go to take the games with, they're like, oh, it's so many night games now. We asked for this for years. All we wanted was night games. We wanted to be on prime time, and oh, we're not getting the attention. Now we're on Hard Knocks, and it's kind of like, be careful what you wish for, because all the years when none of that, we weren't in the spotlight, and now the team is in the spotlight.
Yeah.
There's a there's a flippin' Hallmark movie. I mean, come on. It doesn't get any more critical mass than that.
Yeah. Well, it's funny, Jack, when you were addressing the word drama, you were talking about like injuries and stuff like that. And then I think in my head, when I think of drama, I think about like players arguing, but I guess that there's a lot of different aspects.
Totally. Well, there was some of that earlier in camp. I'm sure it'll be on the first episode. I don't know as much as you, Abigail, but at least like we know publicly that one player was kicked out of practice for throwing a punch at another. That happens. Like there's a lot of intensity in these practices. I'd rather it that way than everyone show up and not really care.
Yeah.
But there's drama.
It shows passion.
Yes, 40 of those guys on the field are not going to be there in, a few weeks. So that's, it heightens everything.
Yeah, that's an interesting take, is you're seeing competition on the field because they want the spots.
Totally.
Yeah.
So explain training camp to us. Explain the experience and let's look from the sports angle. What does training camp mean?
Well,
Jack.
Training camp, it's difficult.
What is training camp?
What is training camp? Not just like going in the buses and the fan aspect. Explain training camp and what it means to a team.
Sure. Training camp is the time for teams to work on things they don't usually work on. You're getting new players acclimated to your base system. It's 2 weeks of nonstop grinding. You hear it in like high school football. There's a ton of that, which personally I'm really excited for in the next couple weeks.
Yeah.
There's 2-a-day drills where you have practice in the morning, a lunch and a film session, and then you're right back on the field for more practice. Basically, the pro teams are doing that now in late July and early August. The difference is these practices are public and their stands are packed at St. John Fisher. And fans now with social media are so overly critical of training camp when players might be working on a specific thing.
Yeah.
You might be telling your quarterback, throw the difficult pass that isn't open to fit that window. And you're working on this very specific niche route with your wide receiver that you're not going to throw during a game in week 5.
Right.
But during training camp, you see stats come out. And, Josh was 5 of 11 this day and he didn't have a good day. And Keon Coleman dropped 2 passes. It doesn't matter. That's the beauty of it.
Yeah. Oh, that's an interesting take. See? And I think like to your point, you focus on the stats when really they're trying to work out the bugs or try things they wouldn't normally try in the regular season. And does that happen in preseason too?
Totally. And preseason is more for those depth players. We talk about those guys fighting for roster spots. That's where you see a guy like Joe Andreessen last year, Buffalo Joe, make the team with a great preseason performance and really come on as what could be a backup player who's on the 48-man roster this year, 52-man roster. You get these love stories of the local kid makes the team from a tryout after not getting drafted. This is where that happens. So you got to kind of rip through the weeds a little bit and not focus so much on Josh Allen and Khalil Shakir and James Cook and find those guys that are on the fringe of the depth chart that might steal your heart by the end of training camp.
Yeah. So what does it mean to a fan, Donny? I mean, I know you know everything he's talking about, but when you're there and you're seeing these things, what does training camp mean to a fan?
For me, I go at least once every year. I think I'm good going once this year. We went to the opening day and took my son, and it's been the kind of thing where to me it's just sort of like the beginning.
Yeah.
I don't. There was one of the volunteers working at John Fisher said, "How'd our MVP look out there?" And I was like, it looked like he was at practice. I don't want him to be like, "Oh wow, he looks really great," or he did something spectacular. It's just sort of like, no, he's got to get the muscle memory back. He's got to get the motions back. He's got to kind of just do the things. Like I don't expect him to look like anything.
Yeah.
I don't expect any of them. And it was the first day. There was no pads. There's nothing. It's just sort of like everyone being in the same room again. And that's sort of how I feel. Like it's first day back, at a football field, kind of doing a lesser version of what we're going to be doing in a few weeks.
Yeah.
It's sort of just like the beginning of the season and you have fun and it's in the morning and go have breakfast beforehand, have your coffee and you watch it and it's so hot by noon, they're glad, like, I'm going back to my car where there's air conditioning and driving home.
Yeah. Well, it's funny. You mentioned, the practices with no pads, because that's how we're used to seeing them. And it's funny, like the first day of training camp, you just saw everybody posting that Josh was in shorts when he walked in. I'm like, yeah, it's summer.
It's really hot.
It's really hot. So, do you find that people even going to training camp, do you feel like there is a focus on fashion even in the preseason?
Oh, yeah. I mean, training camp this week has already blown up for me. Obviously, like this piece, it's lightweight, the lace, it's breathable. People are like, we want to wear this to training camp next week. So the girls, girls and guys are ready. They're looking for their gear. I don't even know if I'm going to get to go to training camp this year, which stinks because I go 2 to 3 times every year because this is like getting back into the swing of things, especially for me. The community of Buffalo looks so much forward to all of this, Yeah. So I love being there. I'm upset. I don't think I'm going to be able to make it out to St. John Fisher. I know the return of red and blue is next week. I'm going to try to get to that. But yeah, the ball is already rolling. I think it starts in Buffalo so much sooner than anywhere else because we're hyped this year. We have a lot to prove this year. We have a lot to get done, especially with, the Hallmark movie and Hard X. We have so much buzz around us because I think something really good's going to happen at the end of the year. So I think we're all ready to prove ourselves. So especially the football team, but the community as a whole too.
Right.
Yeah.
And that's one thing that we always go back to, I think, is the community and everything around the fan base. And, we're going to continue that conversation. In case you're just joining us, you're listening to Group Chat. I'm your host, Bentley, here with Donny Kutzbach, Jack Kreuzer, and Abigail Lee. And speaking of community and even talking about, Jack mentioned, new players and getting their chance. And I have to tell you, I have to give you a big compliment here, Jack. You have made me become so interested in high school sports. Now, I didn't have, I'm out of high school. Yeah, you guys, know that.
No way.
Despite what you may think. And so I'm just always removed from it. And I don't have kids in high school. So I feel like I'm in that in between. And I listened to Friday Night Lights and you got me so interested in these players, their journey. You did it in a way where I'm like, he acts like he's calling play-by-play for the Bills. Like he had stats on the players. I'm like, this is amazing. You were joking around with your co-host. I'm like, this is really great to listen to.
Thank you.
But you're welcome. But all these players start somewhere. And, even tracking players from college. But now the way high school sports is, they're getting recruited so much earlier.
Oh, yeah.
What do even movies and sports programming at the high school level, what do you think that means for an area like Buffalo? Or what do you think it means for the bigger picture of athletics going into college and pro?
The Buffalo area is so sports driven. Like we're here today just talking football training camp. Like I don't know how many people are just talking about training camp today.
Yeah.
Probably at every water cooler in Western New York.
Yeah. Yeah.
We're so in love with athletics and competition. And it's ingrained in the culture from a very young age. So that when you see these high schoolers, they imitate what they see on TV and in the movies. And when they see Josh Allen act as a mature leader, you see high schoolers imitate that and wear number 17 and do all these things that are just, they just tug at your heartstrings because they imitate what they see. Now, during the drought years, when I was coming up and I was growing up as a fan of the Bills who weren't that good, I don't know if there's a direct correlation when things aren't going as well, but certainly when they're going well, everyone is talking about the Bills and you see the numbers in the local high schools go up because everyone's watching football. And especially over the last 7-8 years of Josh Allen's career. And since they've been relevant nationwide, locally, the numbers are booming and we're getting teams back into the high school scene this year that didn't play last year or the years prior, or were in 8-man football because they didn't have enough kids. Now they're playing 11 on 11 again in full pads, and they're getting the numbers back up. So it's great to see the rise of high school football in Western New York. Just for an example, kid from Canisius High School right now, Elijah Kimball.
4-star.
He is 5-star now.
5-star. Okay.
He's got offers from 25 plus Power 5 teams.
Wow.
Yeah.
He's got his choice of, Oregon, Michigan, Ohio State, like the best teams in the country. And he's going into his junior year at Canisius.
Jeez.
No way. That's
just
so cool.
Unbelievable. Top running back in New York State is in our backyard at Canisius High School, downtown Buffalo.
Yeah.
From Buffalo, staying here to play high school.
Yeah.
You see that level of talent year after year in our backyard.
Mhm.
So it's really an honor and a privilege for me to just get their stories out there.
Yeah.
And have people like you who don't check in on the high school scene. We recognize people aren't like fans of their local high school once they're out of it and they don't have kids. But to keep you aware of, hey, this is a really cool member of our community that's going to do great things. Just had a girl, Maddie Francis from Lancaster High School. She's going to Mississippi State to play basketball this year.
Yeah.
We're going to follow her career. And now there's people who listen to Friday Night Lights who didn't know anything about Elijah Kimball or Madison Francis until we had them on our games. And now they're checking in. They're following their stories through the next level.
Yeah.
So it's really an honor to do it.
I mean, we do like to own things in Buffalo too, right? Like we like to say we knew them when, or they were, third string on the Bills and now they're this, doing this, or they played for the Sabres and they weren't good and now they're good on other teams.
Sabres is another story.
So yeah, that I love watching the journey and especially now since kids are recruited so early in college.
Yeah.
Yeah.
When we come back from the break, we're going to talk about the rising influence of women in sports. That's why I'm glad you just brought up Maddie, and the intersection of fashion and athletic identity. Don't go away. Group chat on BTPM NBR. We'll be right back. Thanks for joining us again on Group Chat. I'm your host, Bentley, and I'm joined by Donny Kutzbach, co-owner of Town Ballroom and Fun Time Presents, and producer of the Buffalo Outer Harbor concert series. Jack Kreuzer, associate producer at Buffalo Toronto Public Media and play-by-play voice of BTPM's Friday Night Lights, also the voice of UB Sports. And Abigail Lee, owner and creator of the fashion brand By Abigail Lee. She has made let's just say she's outfitted a lot of players wives in the Buffalo community. So we'll be talking more about that. Jack, in the last segment, we were talking about high school sports in Friday Night Lights, and really giving a platform to those athletes, and the WNBA and women in sports has just grown and grown over the last few years. The Caitlin effect is a thing. Can you talk a little bit about Maddie, and that also the whole the focus on the WNBA, how the WNBA has also helped players like Maddie?
Totally. I mean, we've seen it. Everyone's talking about Caitlin Clark and Paige Beckers and the WNBA, and it's on every other night on ESPN now. It's such a great thing in the summertime when there is no football and there is no basketball or hockey, and it's either you're watching a baseball game, but if you want something a little more exciting, a little more fast pace, there's basketball on, and it's really freaking good basketball in the WNBA. And there's players that have crossed paths in Buffalo that have made appearances in the WNBA. So there's certainly more attention on it, which then, again, like we were talking last segment, with the Bills being good, there's more young kids that want to play football. It's the same thing with now there's young ladies that see the WNBA and watch it on primetime on ESPN that want to play basketball now. But you even see it across other sports. College softball is huge. College basketball, even flag football is booming, not just here, but nationwide. I mean, I just looked up quick stats before this. There are 16 states in the country that have high school flag football for girls as a certified sanctioned sport this year in 2025, with another 18 that are piloting that either this coming year or the following. flag football is an Olympic sport. And there's now girls that have an opportunity to play football in high school. And that only trickles down to the lower levels, where once there's a varsity team, there's now a modified team. And then when does the youth league start in the summer and in the fall? So you get these players that are invested in these sports younger, and specifically for these young girls that didn't have an opportunity to play football 20 years ago, for them to have players to look up to now and then base their own game after and really dive into the fundamentals of the sport. It's so much fun to watch.
Yeah.
And it's just great for the sport in general.
Well, and there's so many aspects of that, as we know. The NBA is a business, WNBA is a business, and there is a Caitlin effect on purchasing, and there is a brand of confidence around her. This brand of confidence and athleticism, Abigail, I feel like you kind of pull all of these into your brand.
Yeah.
How do some of these things align with what you try to channel through your clothing brand?
Yeah, well, I've always been, believe it or not, I was a huge tomboy growing up. I played ice hockey until I was like 17, 18, came in third of the nation. I grew up playing softball. I grew up, pretending I was a football coach and making my brother put on the old Red Bills helmet and run him back and forth in the yard. Like I've always loved sports. And basically just how I got started was that there wasn't anything that was cute around. And I feel like with the rise of just women in sports and it being honestly like more okay nowadays for women to kind of even have a say and talk about sports, I'm seeing that even so much in the last year, which is so cool. Cause like, I have an opinion. I've watched football since I've been 3. I've watched my dad yell at the TV at the Bills for the last 27 years. I know what's going on at this point. Yeah. So it's cool for me because now I can bring both of my loves together because I love sports. I love almost all sports. But I love fashion too. And now I can just kind of be able to talk about it and be able to show my love and pride for Buffalo and the football and hockey. We're getting there with the hockey, but through fashion. So it's awesome. I love seeing all of this happen, especially with women just being able to come more to light with sports and being at the front end of it, you know?
Like you can be multiple things.
Heck yeah.
And, along that line of fashion can also make pretty big statements. So when the WNBA stars were wearing the "Pay Us What You Owe Us" shirts, that was a pretty big statement, because you're watching the game and they're all wearing them. They don't have to say anything. It's on their shirts.
The world said something after they did that, and people stood up and paid attention. And there was the discourse was interesting, and you could see both sides both had pretty strong opinions on it.
Yeah, and it got the conversation. It's been a continuous conversation, but it really put a moment there. And there were protests, there were meetings afterwards, there was fan support, there was a focus on fairness, and that was from wearing one shirt. But also, to your point, Jack, I mean, these games now are more in front of you. They're televised, What do you think has led, like Caitlin was obviously a big influence, but what are some of the other things that you think made the WNBA made executives have to listen to the WNBA?
I think that it's the star power. It's the same thing we talked about. When you have Caitlin and you got Angel Reese, I mean, this is like, that's setting up a rivalry for years and years to come. And it's, like anything, you need personalities. That's also, like we were talking about again earlier, about Hard Knocks. You got Josh Allen, who is an outsized personality, certainly bigger than we've seen in Buffalo, maybe almost ever. So when you have the big personalities, it's drawing more eyes, more attention to the game, even just beyond the athleticism. And the athleticism is incredible, but when they have the personality to kind of go along with it and they have that kind of star quality, then everyone starts paying attention. And I think the WNBA has realized that, and like, we have to really make stars. And they've been turning these athletes into stars. Some of them, I guess, probably come by it naturally, but once they have the stars, then they also are starting to get more viewers, more sponsorship, everything. And then it's like, okay, wait, time to pay us, because it's a pretty crazy gap as opposed to what other athletes, and I'm not saying put NBA and WNBA side by side. I'm saying other pro athletes versus WNBA, even like lower down on the rung of, what has the most viewers and popularity and everything. It's wild to see how underpaid they are.
Yeah. Have you seen, Jack, what have you seen with in high school and college? Have you seen more of a fan base building around women's sports since Caitlin?
Yeah, totally.
Yeah.
I mean, just locally, I just ended a 3-year stint as UB women's basketball radio play-by-play guy. So I was with the team every game, home and away, in the weeds at times where there aren't a lot of fans. We went to Eastern Michigan to play them in Ypsilanti, and there's 10 people in the crowd.
Yeah.
Fast forward to the end of last season, where UB went on a run in the WNIT postseason championship. They get all the way to the championship game. Playing in Buffalo, they sell out Alumni Arena.
Wow.
5,600 people, first ever sellout for the program, and they were loud. It was awesome. The line out the door before the game started, to see that amount of support, it really just goes to show you it doesn't matter what the sport is. If Buffalo has a winning team, the community will rally.
Oh, yeah. I love that.
Abigail, you might be venturing into other avenues here as you get bigger in what you're doing now with the Bills wear. I feel like next year, if we talk, you might be into other avenues.
I'm looking. It's the Bills have my heart, I obviously love the Sabres too. If we're, let's just be really good this year, guys. I love the hockey too. I've always kind of dabbled in that. Bandits are great too. People rally behind them, but yeah, we're planning some big things for the next year.
A fashion icon in women's sports, Venus Williams, who returned to tennis at the DC Open. And of course, all the headlines you see at the age of 45. So I don't know why we got to talk about that widow. But anyways.
Age is yet a number.
Right. Women are competing at different stages in life. Are we starting to redefine what the word prime means?
Ooh, that's a tough question.
I like that.
Because what does it mean? Because Venus, obviously, she's still crushing it. She's a big part of sports culture. Fashion icon in sports. But you have that on both. You have that in, it's not gender specific. We're always talking about prime. Mm-hmm. And it's usually attached to age.
Yeah. I always thought that when you turned 30, you were old.
Washed.
Because, athletes, it's like, well, once they're 30, they're getting up there, they're losing their skill. But like, wait a second, I'm getting near 30. I feel like I haven't hit my prime yet, And I'm sure everyone here feels the same, where it's like, well, we're not in our prime just yet. We're still growing, still building.
Yeah. In case you just joined us, you're listening to Group Chat. I'm your host, Bentley, here with Donny Kutzbach, Jack Kreuzer, and Abigail Lee. Abigail, being in the fashion world, what were some of your thoughts when you do start to see, Serena wearing a tutu during a tennis match? What does this mean to, some of the things that you're looking to do as well in your fashion lines?
Yeah, so I'm just always looking for trends, the tutus, honestly, that's fun. Like I could see, obviously maybe not me, but, some of the more prominent people in the fashion, the bigger names with the NFL wives, they could probably rock something like that. And it's going to trickle down and people, other fans are gonna be like, well, I can wear that too. That's something that I just try to bring to the forefront. I was only seeing all these really specialty pieces on, the celebrities and the top NFL players' wives and stuff, but anyone can feel special in their clothes. And I was always like, well, I want to feel like a hot shot. I want to feel like a big deal when I go. So that's just kind of what's conspired with my clothes, just like this. Like you would think, oh, well, you can't wear that to a game. Heck yeah, you can. You've got 300 girls who are going to probably be wearing them in the next week, So like things like that. It's cool. I love seeing how these bigger names really truly inspire the fashion industry, especially in sports. So yeah.
So who are can you talk about some of the people that you've designed for? Because I know you've designed for some people, some names that we would know. And did the custom pieces then get you into what you're doing now for everybody?
Yeah, so I've kind of dabbled in it for the last few years. I've had a few bigger names reach out over the years. The biggest thing that happened this last year, though, Josh Allen's mom had contacted me about getting a Mrs. Allen jacket made because obviously they just got engaged. Yeah. So it was the coolest thing ever. We made a jacket for her. One of my buddies actually took it off his back. We were downtown Buffalo. It was this beautiful old vintage starter black jacket. And I'm like, oh my God, this is so beautiful. I get the text and I'm like, I don't have any, older pieces sitting on hand, nothing that I can make in a pinch. I think it was like the next day. My buddy looks at me. He owns like, a vintage clothing store. And he's like, you want this? I'm like, you're kidding. He's like, I'll give it to you if you get it to Miss Seinfeld. I said, heck yeah. So I went home. I was shaking making it, put Mrs. Allen on the back and got it delivered to her for the game. And then they didn't give it to her. I asked LaVon, Josh's mom, I texted her. I was like, hey, did she get in? She said, no. Josh loved it so much. It's under the Christmas tree. He wants to give it to her for Christmas.
Aww.
So it was really cool. So I have not seen her wear it yet. I think if it was me, I'd probably wait until I was actually married to wear the Mrs. Allen, in my opinion. But I'm hoping that she will get around to wearing it this year. But Sports Illustrated actually picked up the story. I did just a really quick reel. It just said, point of view, you're a present under Josh Allen's Christmas tree, and everyone went crazy. And Sports Illustrated picked it up. So that was kind of it was the coolest thing ever. I was so grateful for that. But yeah, a lot of the wives on the team now. I'm in production of like at least 4 or 5 girls right now, just getting some pieces ready for the beginning of the season.
Yeah, I feel like when I started seeing you put stuff out there, I'm like, I want to wear the same stuff as an NFL player.
I know.
Why can't I have that? And then you started making stuff, and I'm like, I was like cheering for you. Yeah. I'm like, you got to give stuff to the people.
People want what they want.
Donny, I have to say though, Donny, you might have been a little ahead of the game with this, because I always remember at your tailgates, your famous denim Bills jacket.
I have
a lot of custom pieces.
I have a lot of vintage and custom pieces, because over the years it became a thing. And one of my many sidelines hobbies is collecting vintage and collecting anything Buffalo Bills.
Yeah.
So I have a lot of that stuff. And I think if we're going to talk sports and fashion, the rise of vintage has been crazy. And I was on Marketplace yesterday and I bought a vintage Bills shirt from somebody. And if the price is right, I'm always like, oh, I could take that and resell it, but I never resell it. My son and I are like both pretty hardcore collectors, and he's only 16. So he's like learning the ropes now. Yeah. But we keep saying like, okay, we're going to open up a retail shop in a few years. Mm-hmm. Just mainly because I think when I'm dead, he doesn't want to have to get rid of all of the stuff I have. But yeah, I still love hunting vintage sports, vintage Bills, especially stuff.
Well, you and Abigail should trade info. So if she gets a call like that again,
we'll collab.
If she gets a call like that again, she'll let you up for
cool. I'd love to see your pieces and the denim, like the custom denim. That's iconic. That's so cool.
The height of my fame as a Bills collector might have been when they did the video piece with Arkells.
Oh yes,
and they needed all that. They needed all the stuff. So Max from Arkells calls me and goes, hey, can I borrow a bunch of your Bill stuff to wear in this video, this collab video we're doing with the Bills? And I said, of course.
So cool.
So I literally, overnighted, instead of driving it across the border, I overnighted it to Toronto and they shot it. And so video exists forever and he's wearing all my clothes.
Yeah, that was the whole years in the making campaign. Yeah. And I remember seeing the video, I'm like, that looks like Donny's. You were like, yeah. I love it. Yeah, it was. And I mean, style has evolved. Fashion has evolved, especially for women in sports, because it was like you basically had one option. And then they tried to make jerseys for women that were just like tapered weird.
Yeah, it's like hits at my like butt. I don't know what's going on with those. Yeah.
So Abigail, when did you first see a need for the types of pieces that you create? Because you started out doing, you did a lot of bleached and tie-dyed.
Yeah.
That's where your former brand, Bleached by Abigail, came from, but then you expanded.
Yeah. So in the last year, I was Bleached by Abigail Lee, so I used to hand tie-dye and bleach pieces. So I'd make every single piece by hand, guys. It was a lot of work. But in the last year, I've just seen that the bleach is always going to be a trend, but I feel like there's just so much more I can do, obviously, with this. And just, I mean, if you guys, you got to look at my stuff. It's fun. I make stuff for guys too. Don't worry.
I know. I'm probably just focusing because I think about what I order and what I shop for. So
yeah, no,
I don't mean to exclude anybody.
No, a lot of the stuff's unisex. A lot of it is, obviously women geared, but I have a lot of great pieces. I use my boyfriend as a model all the time. He's super cute. He's, I'm having modeling. I do vintage style, like old school bombers, but they're just, new and updated. But yeah, I was making all these pieces by hand. And then the last year, I want to expand, my dream is to partner with every single NFL team except the Kansas City Chiefs. I will never make a piece for the Kansas City Chiefs ever.
We're remembering that. We're going to hold you to
that. If I sign a deal, I've already told people, I'll check off every box. Chiefs, no. Like after this last year going to Arrowhead, never again.
True Bills fan.
Yeah,
spoken by a true Bills fan.
Can't do it. So, but yeah, and then I just thought in the last year, there's still, so many people do it. You guys probably see it. At the festivals and everywhere, there's so many different pieces, but I just want to do just something even a little bit different that you're going to be like, oh my gosh, I'm so ready to go to the game because I have that piece to wear. And I'm just excited to get girls excited about if they want to know more about football or they just love the culture of football. If you're going to a game looking good, like you're going to feel that much better. You're not just wearing a t-shirt from the Bills store or, the last season TJ Maxx shirt for $12.99. Like we want to, it's just about feeling cool and better and just excited about football. That's my biggest thing.
And I appreciated your snowsuits because, especially at the end of the season last year, I was like, I can't go. It's going to be so cold. And then you posted a snowsuit. I'm like, I'm going because I'm going to get that last snowsuit. People you had to do like a lottery for them, right?
I had to do a lottery. I released them and then, people were going crazy over them. I literally had to do a bid on them because I'd had hundreds of messages. I will give you $500. I'm like, this is not fair. I was like, hold on. So we had to go back and literally do a lottery pick of the last 10 that we had. But they were after a 90, it was like a 90s style. They're so cool. A bunch of guys wore them too. You guys would look great in that going to the game. But yeah, I call them the Power Ranger suit.
But that just shows that you're actually making a brand in Buffalo because I always wondered why I could never really find good stylish winter gear, and I'm like, because you don't see half the season, you don't see your jersey or anything you're wearing at the games. Yeah. I know I'm supposed to put it on the outside of my jacket. All right, whatever.
But I feel like to that point, as much as going to the game is like the culture of football and you're there for the game and you're there to watch it, you're just hanging out with your friends.
Yeah.
It's just as much a social event where anytime you go out with your friends, you want to look good. Yeah. You want to feel good. So you get your best outfit. To have Bills themed cool outfits to wear, it's that much better.
Yeah, guys and girls,
Love it. When we come back from the break, we're going to take a little break. We're talking about upcoming music festivals because we're heading into Lollapalooza. So that's how that conversation is starting. How live streaming is reshaping the festival experience and what fashion looks like from the festival grounds. Group chat on BTPM NPR. We'll be right back. Welcome back to Group Chat. I'm your host, Bentley, here with my guests, Donny Kutzbach, co-owner of Town Ballroom and Fun Time Presents, and a producer of Buffalo Outer Harbor Concert Series, Jack Kreuzer, associate producer at Buffalo Toronto Public Media, and play-by-play voice of Buffalo Toronto Public Media's Friday Night Lights. And you also will hear him as part of many UB sports broadcasts. And Abigail Lee, owner and creator of the fashion brand By Abigail Lee. So we've been talking a lot about football fashion because, coming out of training camp, heading into preseason, heading into the actual season, this is when you need to be thinking about these things, right, Abigail? Mm-hmm. But we're also in festival season. Lollapalooza happening this weekend, and there was obviously a documentary that came out about Lollapalooza. And, we have this conversation at the beginning of summer, but as we were talking about at the beginning of summer, a lot of these things are happening later and later as we get into September. And Lollapalooza used to be sort of one of the anchor festivals, right, Donny? Like, even though we have a ton of festivals now, that was one of the main ones.
Yeah, and it still exists at that same point at the end of July, beginning of August, where, if big acts are going to go out and play it and they know that's their one big show, they can then book 2 weeks around it, a week on either side of it, and go out and play other festivals and play other big shows in other cities. And yeah, that's sort of how acts look at the summer generally. And
so we've benefited in Buffalo from Lollapalooza in the past, right? From being able to possibly route bands that were playing Lollapalooza.
Yeah. This year might not be as much so.
No, yeah.
But
in the past you have, right?
Some years it just happens that way. And this year it did not so much, but there are other festivals that we're seeing the runoff from.
Yeah. What is the significance of Lollapalooza and the history now that we have so many festivals?
It's funny. My daughter is at Lollapalooza right now. She's 22. Mm-hmm. And my wife said, we did okay. Our daughter's at Lollapalooza now. Because we used to go in the 90s. So now it's like, we did okay. And I was like, yeah, it's not the same thing exactly, but the spirit of it, okay, yeah, it's good. Yeah. I don't know, it's sort of just it became sort of, it went from being the name brand and alternative to now just the name brand in summer festivals. Mm-hmm. And it is sort of like the major domo. It's the big one.
Yeah.
Bigger than Coachella or anything else.
Mm-hmm. I never know, like, in terms of Coachella now, and like, and then you have Bonnaroo, and I never know what is the big one anymore. And now, especially because you have some of these spin-off festivals that have these crazy lineups. Mm-hmm. So I never know. And then each year they're still doing it. It's happening. Perry Farrell's still involved.
I don't know. I don't know if they let him be involved. They're like, okay, you're over here doing something, okay? I don't know. He's had his other problems in the last year. Yeah. But when you look at something like Lollapalooza, it's still important because you're seeing, to go back, we'll see when we're done with this weekend of what the breakout is. But last year, everyone is still talking about Chappell Roan last year. Like, that was her star-making show was at Lollapalooza last year, and it recorded the biggest audience they'd ever had there. Yeah. So that's saying something. So it's like, that's why Lollapalooza is still important.
Yeah. Olivia Rodrigo performing tonight. So it will be interesting to see who she brings out on stage, because that's what she's sort of been doing at all her performances. And, you've got Sabrina Carpenter, A$AP Rocky. There's definitely, I think from when it started, there's definitely a lot of bigger names now. When it started, it was more of like an exposure type of festival,
right? Long-haired guys were when I was going.
I know, Abigail, you said you've never been to a music festival.
No,
we need to change that.
I know. I'd love to go to some, but I see, everyone, all the influencers, everyone goes to Coachella and stuff. And I feel like nobody's even there for the music. Like, I'm actually in a band. I sing.
Really?
So I have a song out. It's called Let's Go Buffalo by Abigail Lee. So it's a Bills song, and it actually is a bop. Like, it's actually pretty fun. And I am writing a Christmas song right now. A Bill's Christmas song. Ooh. And we just got the feedback on it, and it's adorable. Like, I'm so excited. I'm so excited about it. But yeah, I'm in a band with actually a bunch of 60 and 70-year-old guys, and we sing all 50s, 60s, 70s, like old rock and pop song, a lot of Beatles and all that stuff. So I love music. I mean, I sing, and I just never have gotten it to get to a music festival. So I think it would just be,
we need to change that.
It would be fun.
Someone tell me. Yeah. You'll be performing.
No, God, no. Just all Bill's songs. Everyone's like, whoa, this is crazy.
Listen, you might be a market for that.
Yeah, you never know.
Borderlands.
So do you pay attention to festival fashion, and does that influence general fashion each year or summer fashion?
Well, just like you said, I feel like it's always everyone's trying to one up each other. I've seen so many pictures, obviously, with like, influencers and everybody just trying to one up each other with their outfits and stuff. So it's kind of cool because I feel like something like this is super festival-esque with the different materials and lace and metallic and all those fun things. So, I mean, that's actually a really good idea to start looking into. Maybe I'll start looking and seeing what the festival fashion is doing. So for next year, because next year we've got a whole lot of new coming next year. So that's actually a good idea. But that'd be kind of cool.
We do have a shorter season for some of those clothes because sometimes the festival fashion, because those festivals are held in the summer and usually in warmer climates. So there's not a lot to
There's a lot of skin,
festival fashion.
Not a lot of fabric.
Recently, on all levels, sometimes the shoe, like the boots are like the most covering thing.
I've seen it all.
I'm always like a little bit concerned when I see festival fashion because I've operated, run, owned festivals, done all of it. And when the weather goes sideways, you don't always want to be dressed the way that some of the festival fashion would have you set up.
Oh, yeah. And it can happen, especially in areas like Chicago. I mean, you could be in the middle of a rainstorm at any moment.
I was seeing Bruce Springsteen at Wrigley Field in a massive downpour that somehow he got through the whole show. It was a 2-night, but I remember being so soaked.
Yeah.
And it wasn't even muddy, but it was really wet. And my clothes were soaked through. I won't even get into some of the festival saps of it.
See, Abigail, that's where you could come in because you actually have also designed weather appropriate clothing. So maybe this is great things happen in group chat. Like
that's it's just like
weather friendly festival clothing.
Cool. I love it. Gosh,
Jack,
you're so smart.
Jack, I know you're not just all sports all the time. I do hear your little inside jokes during Friday Night Lights.
Oh no, you're listening
that you
to
actually have a personal life. Are you a festival person?
I've never been to a festival.
No. Do you do outdoor shows or concerts?
I went to CMAC this summer in Canandaigua. Saw Goose there. I love a jam band.
Really, Jack?
Yeah. Oh, big
I love
time.
learning about you. Goose is a good one. So you were okay. So now we know. All right, now we know where to send you. Or okay, maybe this will be a little social experiment. So you like a good outdoor show?
I like to dance. I like to move.
Okay.
I like to mingle and get around and have a great time.
Yeah.
You know, it's not about like Kleinhans. Now, I love an opera. I love, the orchestra, but I don't want to sit there in my seat. I saw James Taylor this summer as well. The crowd's a little older, but maybe you could sing some of his songs with your band, JT, 70s.
Yeah.
Totally. But that crowd was very like in their seats and, very nice job, James, where I'm like, this is a great vibe. Like, I'd like to get up and move a little bit.
Yeah.
So,
like, can somebody move?
Yeah.
So what are your thoughts then on streaming festivals? Because a lot of or musical performances in general, because a lot of the festivals have been going that route. From the business side, Donnie, what is the decision-making process behind that? There has to be a certain number of tickets sold? I know like the UK, like the festivals like Reading and Leeds streamed this year, but those are massive festivals and not everybody in the world's going to get to go there. But what goes behind making the decision to stream a live performance?
I think that when you're the festival producer, you are in a lot of these cases, you're paying on the bigger festivals, you're paying a lot of money to your headliners and to all the acts playing. So I think part of what's built into, okay, we're paying you this much, it might be double what you normally get, which is not unheard of in the festival business. Part of the deal will be, okay, but we also have the streaming rights to this performance and we're going to stream it because artists they like to hold that stuff close for a good reason. So that ends up being part of the discussion, I think. I guess festivals do it for multi-tiered reasons. I think they are trying to generate interest and get people excited about it. There's also, there's sponsorship tied in. So, if they can have sponsors that are involved somehow in the stream and they're just trying to get as many eyes on the entire thing that they're doing. I always think of it as it is that sort of thing where when you watch it, you get really excited and like, I'm going to that next year.
Mm-hmm.
And we've talked about it in previous episodes, and we've talked about Oasis. But like when I've gone back and watched, and I've seen Oasis through the years before the break, we've talked about all this. But when I watch the videos on YouTube and like people, they put together these really good, clips and like sometimes whole shows, and I'm sort of like, I guess I gotta go. When I was watching the live broadcast from like after July 4th and everything, I was like, oh yeah, you know what? I gotta go. I gotta go see this one more time, because watching the videos online, it's kind of exciting. Same thing with like the Ozzy, the Black Sabbath thing. I was watching some of the clips came out of that, and it's like, okay, that's pretty cool.
Yeah. So Jack, since you're a dancer,
I don't know if I'd call it that. I'm a mover. It's what my resume says.
Wow. So I'm adding that to your bio. Would you watch a festival or a performance at home?
Totally. I've done it in the past.
Yeah.
I mean, I hate to just pump Goose's tires this whole time, but like plenty of times I'll get onto insert streaming service here and follow the concert and just see who else is playing. I love the fact that I don't necessarily have the means to go to these shows or these festivals, but there's an option for me. And I'm very ear focused, musically focused. Like I need it to sound good. Yeah. So being there live doesn't necessarily always produce the best sound quality. So being able to listen to it with headphones on at the comfort of my home is so much more enjoyable.
Oh, the sound quality. That's an interesting angle.
You're in that nice board feed.
Yeah.
You're hearing what the sound person is hearing, and that's
right, exactly. Yeah. To your point, Donny, I mean, you get the best sound experience because it's coming right from the board. They're feeding it right from the sound person is literally monitoring what you're hearing. Oh, yeah. Abigail, would you maybe break into the festival world by watching a festival at home?
Yeah. I mean, I'm definitely, I gotta be there. I'm not a mover or a dancer, but I just need a little sway in me. I would try it. I don't know if I'd really be like super, I gotta be busy all the time when I'm doing stuff. So I would definitely play it in my house and be, in the kitchen or cleaning or, working on other stuff. But that would be, I would definitely 100%.
It would be a background thing for you.
Background thing for me. Yeah. I'd lose my attention. I got to be there. You got to hold my attention in person.
I could see that, especially how you are at Bills games and you have to be like right in it.
Oh yeah. I'm like, cause I'm either posting on socials or I'm like this, my play's going on. But I throw it away and I got to watch. Yeah.
So, now we've talked about, I know you've been at training camp and then we're headed into, are you doing more training camp events, Donny? What is everybody's weekend like and what is everybody looking forward to in the next week? What do you all have coming up?
I am going to be sitting by the lake in Angola eating French fries with this giant vat of cheese that they bring me at Castaways at Lake Erie Beach in Angola. And that's all I'm thinking about for this weekend because I've had so much going on. I have no shows this weekend. So I have a couple little things I have to do, but that's really what I'm thinking about is eating those French fries and cheese, maybe some chicken wings and sitting on the beach.
That sounds amazing. You've been very busy with shows lately.
Shows and all kinds of other things.
Yeah. How about you, Jack?
I mean, this weekend, I'm trying to think, aside from very similarly with a vat of cheese and breadsticks sitting by the pool, I mean, that's kind of been the summer. It's been so hot, especially today that we're recording this. It's like, get me into the water ASAP, But there were so many festivals in Buffalo last weekend. It's like the Jazz Festival, and there was the Disability Pride Festival, and there were all these festivals. Italian festivals last weekend. That this weekend, I'm like, what is going on this weekend? Do you guys have any ideas?
I have no, because this is going to be the weekend that I try to be by a pool because I got one pool day last week because it's usually Donnie's fault why I'm so busy because of all the shows he puts on. But there's been a lot of concerts and there have been a lot of festivals because Buffalo likes to squeeze everything into June and July and now September. So I think we get a little break right now.
Farmers market Saturday.
Oh, yes.
A lot of farmers markets.
Tomatoes are coming in hard right now.
I know.
And I'm for it.
I love it. It's so funny because I'm like, I can finally go to the farmer's market this weekend. I don't have to be anywhere Saturday morning.
Oh, that'll be great. That's a great idea. Yeah.
How about you, Abigail? You're like filling orders now?
Yeah, so I will be very soon being able to announce that I will be distributing to over 30 locations of a very well-known and loved grocery store in the Buffalo, Central New York, and Pennsylvania area. So that's coming really soon. So I will be renting a box truck and distributing to almost 30 stores.
Wow.
This weekend. So if anybody has a pool and wants to invite me, I mean, I'll just not rent a box truck, so if anyone wants to hang out. But yeah, so that's my weekend.
Are you moving warehouses now, or what is happening with that? Because I've been seeing your posts that you've outgrown your warehouse.
Yeah. So there's a lot I'm in North Tonawanda right now, but I did just actually get a second location it's double the size that is in Clarence. So I just signed off on all of that this morning. So I just made that commitment, which is like crazy because I've been in my spot for like 3.5 years. So there's just a lot going on right now, but I'm really excited. So
we're here for you. So anytime you want to come back, you have a support system here and
the group chat. I love you guys.
That wraps up today's episode of Group Chat. For now, if you want to continue the conversation, make sure you follow us on Instagram and Twitter at BTPMNPR. Also check us out on the video podcast on Buffalo Toronto Public Media's YouTube channel. I'd like to thank my guests, Donny Kutzbach, Jack Kreuzer, and Abigail Lee. I'm your host, Bentley. Have a great weekend, and thanks for listening.